In this video, we are going to discuss the sixth question in order to improve your middle game. The question is, what's the opponent's next move or plan? We are again going to discuss 5 critical diagrams that can help you to improve your middle game and chess skills overall. After watching this video, you are going to master the middle game. If you haven't checked out the 5 parts yet, must go and check it out. So I don't want to waste any further time, so let's quickly jump into the video. So we have the first part on the board, the first diagram. We are playing with the black pieces, and I want all of you guys to pause the video and try to think what should be the idea of black in this position. Okay, so if you guys found out the move c4, brilliant. Now what's the idea? So basically, if in this particular position, if it would have been white to play, what should be the idea of white? White would love to play the move c4. And the idea is to hit the knight or put the bishop on c3. For example, if black plays a random move like h6, white would love to push the pawn to c4, hitting the knight. We pull the knight back, and now white would love to put the bishop on c3, which would be a deadly monster. So that is the reason we do not want to allow this bishop to come on c3, which would be completely monster. So what do we do at the place of h6? We play the move c4. And that's the idea of solving this question. What's the opponent's next move or plan? White's idea is to play the move c4, bishop c3. So we want to stop the move c4, so we ourselves play the move c4. And now it's already better for black because there is no way the white bishop is going to escape. And now I will simply ask the question, what would be the happy squares for my knight? What is the most happiest square for my knight? So I would say that definitely the d3 square is the most ideal square for the knight. So I can just play my knight to b7, c5 and d3, and the position is already better for black. I can even play the move rook d8 and put my rook to d3, and the position is already winning for black. So this is how you must do it. Just find out your opponent's plan or the next move and try to prevent it from happening. So this was the first diagram, so now let's move on to the second diagram. So coming on to the second diagram, we are again playing with the black pieces, and now again I want all of you guys to pause the video and try to find black's idea or plan. Okay, so what should be the idea of white if it would have been white to play? For example, if I make a random move like h6. And now what should be the idea for white? So white is having the bishop pair. And whenever you are having a bishop pair, always try to open up the position. The bishop on f1 is not so happy because the pawn on c4 is covering the bishop. So white would love to play the move c5. And white is also having the double pawn, so white would love to remove one of the weak pawn by playing the move c5. And after c5, white is actually pretty happy because after a random move like queen c8, white would love to pawn takes, and after he would love to put the bishop to c4. And to be true, white is pretty happy because both the bishops are pretty happy. Looking at the f7 pawn as well. So that's the idea. We don't really want to allow white to play the move c5. So how can we really stop it? We can play the move knight to a5, simply attacking the queen. The queen moves, and now we can even play the move c5. Now it is a dual idea to be precise, because after c5, the bishop is kind of stuck looking at the pawn, which is nothing is happening. And second, the pawn is going to remain on c4 for a lifetime, and the bishop on f1 is going to remain back. So basically both the bishops are extremely bad, and it's a close position, and now you are the one having the advantage with the black pieces. So that's the idea of the second question. What's the opponent's next move or plan? Just try to avoid it, and you are going to have a better position. So this was the second position, so now let's move on to the third diagram. So coming on to the third diagram we have on the board. Again, we are playing with the black pieces, and again I want all of you guys to pause the video, try to find what is the idea of white and how should we try to continue with the black pieces. Okay, so what is the idea of white? So white would love to put the knight to e5 because it is the most ideal square. As the fourth question states that what is the happiest square for my pieces? So the knight definitely belongs to e5. So white idea is to play the move knight d3 followed by knight to e5. And we really want to stop it. Whereas the bishop on c8 is extremely bad, just stuck by his own pawns. So we would like to open up the c8 bishop. But how can I do that? I can simply play the move b6, hitting the bishop. And now, what should be the move black should play? Bishop b7 or bishop to a6? If all of you guys found the move bishop a6, brilliant. The bishop a6 is basically you are putting the bishop in a strong open diagonal. And second, you are also not allowing white to play the move knight to d3. If white plays the move knight d3, you can happily capture the knight, and the position is already better for black. Because white is having the weakness on e3, the most ideal square for the knight is on e4, and it's already close position. You can even start to play the move c5 because c6 is a bit weak. So yeah, the position is already good for black because we are having a good piece versus bad piece. So yeah, this is how you must play. This was the third diagram, so now let's move on to the fourth diagram. So coming to the fourth diagram we have on the board, this time we are playing with white pieces, and I want all of you guys to pause the video, try to find what should be the idea of black and how can we avoid it by playing with the white pieces. Okay, so what is the idea of black? Let's try to discuss. So first of all, we are having bishop pair. And as I told, bishop pair is actually pretty strong pieces if you're having the bishop pair. So definitely your opponent will try to remove one pair of the bishops. Now how can he do it? Your opponent must be wanting to play the move bishop b6, trying to forcefully exchange one pair of bishop. And then we are not having that huge amount of advantage. So we want to avoid the move bishop b6. So how can I stop bishop b6? I can simply play the move a5. Playing the move, simply covering the b6 square, and now black can no longer play bishop b6. All of you who are thinking, can we simply capture the pawn on a7? Guys, it's not a good idea because here black can simply capture the bishop. Queen takes, followed by bishop to b6 check. It's a check. Sorry about that. It's a check, the queen is hanging, and the bishop is protected by the knight. You are basically going to lose the queen. That is the reason you can't really capture the pawn, but you can push the pawn to a5, covering the b6 square. And after here, black can play the move bishop d6. And again, it's my same question. What are you going to play with in this position if you're playing with the white pieces? If all of you thought that bishop into a7 was the move, it's still the same. Black can still capture the bishop, and it still leads to a queen loss. So we can't really do that. But we can play the move b4, which is extremely strong move, again covering the c5 square. And now there is no way black can able to trade off the bishop pair. And we are having the bishop pair, having a strong advantage. We can play the move king h1, move the queen. There is no way black can even think of trading one pair of bishop, and we are going to have the long-term advantage. So this is how you must play the this particular diagram, the position. Just find out what's the opponent's idea or plan, what the opponent want to achieve. Just try to stop it, and you are always going to have a good position. So this was the fourth diagram. So now let's move on to the final diagram of the day. So we have the final diagram, the fifth diagram on the board. We are playing with the black pieces, and I want all of you guys to pause the video and try to think what should be the idea of black. Okay, so let's start from the first question. It would be basically a full recap of all the questions we have discussed so far. Coming to the first question, what is the weaknesses in the white's camp? I would say the e4 pawn is a bit weak, but to be true, it can't really be captured because it is already protected by the three pieces. And yeah, that's the only weakness I can see. Coming to the second question, what is the weakness in our particular position? I don't think that there is any particular weakness in our position. Coming to the third question, which side of the board we are stronger? Definitely we are stronger on the king side because of the pawn on the f4. It is extremely strong. Coming to the fourth question, we are stronger on the king side, whereas white is stronger on the queen side. White really want to play the move b4, trying to grab space on the queen side and try to advance on the queen side. So now coming to the fourth question, which piece can be happier? So definitely I want to develop my knight, I want to place my bishop to g4, and yeah, then only I can claim that my pieces are happy. Coming to the fifth question, which pieces do I want to trade? So I won't say that there is any particular piece I want to trade, but yeah, it could be a possibility to trade this particular bishop with this knight, because as it's a close position, the knights are always stronger than the bishop. And the opponent's bishop is completely bad against our knights. So definitely I would like to trade off the bishop with the knight. So yeah, Finally, coming on to the sixth question, what's the opponent's next move or plan? So as I said, white is having the majority on the queen side. So white would love to push on the queen side by playing the move b4. So what we can do, we can play the move knight to c5, hitting the queen. The queen move back, and now what are you going to play in this particular position is the question. a4, a very strong move, not allowing your opponent to play the move b4. If you place, we can simply capture the pawn, and now white's pawn structure is extremely bad. So after a4, white can't really capture the pawn because it is already defended by the two pieces. And now black's idea could be to play the move bishop g4, trying to capture the knight, and just start playing on the king side as we are looking onto the king side because we are already stronger on the king side. So as I told in the third question, always try to play on the side where you are stronger. So after blocking this opponent's idea, now you can focus on playing on the king side. So yeah, this is how you must play this particular position, the fifth diagram. And yeah, that's it for today. These were the critical 5 diagrams. If you are able to solve all the answers correctly, you are always better than yesterday. And even if you are able to solve one answer, you are still better than yesterday. So yeah, this is how you can improve your middle game. So now in the next video, we are going to discuss the last question in order to improve your middle game. So yeah, that's it for today. I hope that this video might have helped you to improve your game. If it did, then make sure to like the video, share this video with everyone, and make sure to subscribe to our channel. So I'm going to come up with these exciting videos like this. So till then, stay tuned and keep watching Oneshot Chess.